U.S. security official meet China's Xi Jinping as American election looms large over relations. U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan meets Chinese leader Xi Jinping at the Great Hall of the People in Beijing on August 29th. Hong Kong CNN, Chinese leader Xi Jinping met with U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan in Beijing Thursday as the two countries press ahead on stabilizing communication in their increasingly contentious relationship. The meeting was the capstone of the three-day trip that also saw Sullivan hold talks with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi and the Central Military Commission Vice Chairman General Zhang Yuxia, the first meeting between a U.S. official and a Chinese military figure in that role since 2018. Xi Jinping said China's commitment to the goal of the stable, healthy, and sustainable China-US relationship remains unchanged, according to the readout from China's foreign ministry. The leader expressed the hope that the US side will work with the same direction with China and its development in the positive and rational light to see each other's development as the opportunity rather than a challenge, the readout said. Sullivan in the introductory remarks reiterated that the U.S. President Joe Biden is committed to responsibly uh, responsi- uh, responsively managing its consequential relationship to ensure that competition doesn't veer into conflict. He added that the Biden looks forward to engaging with Xi Jinping again in the coming weeks, foreshadowing potential talks or the call between the two leaders, which were also referenced in both sides' readout of the meetings between the Sullivan and the Foreign Minister Wang Yi, and Biden last spoke during the call in April. The meetings follow Apple to over the past year from both sides to repair fractured lines of the communication. Even as the US-China relations remain fraught over the host of frictions, including Beijing's aggression in the South China Sea and toward Taiwan and the US trade controls targeting China. Beijing has also been carefully watching the upcoming US elections, where a change of administration in January could impact the trajectory of the relationship between the world's two largest economies. The expectations from significant progress on sticking point in the relationship during this meeting were low, especially as the U.S. elections loom. For both sides, they have no strong motivation to push aggressively because of the election. Both are in a wait and see mode while looking to maintain current relationship without incident, said Liu Dongshu, assistant professor at the City University of the Hong Kong. The Democratic candidate, Vice President Kamala Harris, is expected to maintain a level of continuity with Biden's China policy, while Republican candidate Donald Trump had a combative and mercurial relationship with China as president and has threatened to broadly expand American tariff on Chinese import if re-elected. Military talks. The Wang and Sullivan said also discussed the plans to hold a call between their respective military theater commanders, both sides said. Such talks, part of the broader resumption of regular military discussions following a meeting between Biden and Xi in November would involve the commanders leading American troops in the Indo-Pacific and those leading Chinese strategy in the southern and eastern theater. The Biden administration has for months pushed to move direct discussions between the two global powers beyond the government breadth to uniformed officers. Uniformed officers making decisions in the region. The call has not yet been scheduled, a U.S. official told CNN. Wang and Sullivan's discussion of military communications becomes amid especially heightened tensions in the South China Sea, where Chinese and Philippine ships have been engaged in the series of the violent, but not lethal confrontations in recent months. Commanders of U.S. Indo-Pacific Command Admiral Samuel Paparo earlier this week suggested the U.S. could escort Philippine ships through the South China Sea, which Beijing claims almost in its entirety, despite a major international ruling to the contrary. In his meeting Thursday with Zhang, the senior figure in China's powerful Central Military Commission, Sullivan stressed the U.S. commitment to freedom of navigation in the South China Sea and the importance of across the strait, peace and stability in reference to China, according to the White House readout. Sullivan also raised the cyberspace effort to reach a ceasefire in the war in Gaza and American concerns about what the U.S. says is China's support for Russia's defense industrial base as it wages war on Ukraine. In introductory remarks ahead of the meeting, which took place at Chinese military headquarters in Beijing, Sullivan acknowledged how rare it was to have such exchanges. Given the state of the world and the need for us to responsibly manage U.S.-China relations, I think it's very important meeting, he told Zhang. Zhang called on the United States to correct its strategic understanding of China, return to the rational and pragmatic policy toward China, and earnestly respect China's core interest, citing Taiwan as the core of China's core interest. According to the readout published in Chinese state media, the general also called for both sides to maintain stability in the military and security field. China's top diplomat Wang Yi and the White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan met at Yangtze Lake in Beijing, China on August 27, 2024. Fraught ties. Prior to those talks, Sullivan held 2 days of engagement with Wang Yi, marking the fifth time that the two officials have met over the past year and a half in multiple occasions, including their last meeting in January in Bangkok. The two agreed to advance areas of cooperation such as counter narcotics and AI safety and risk, but as expected made little leeway on major frictions in the relationship. Wang Yi stressed the importance of U.S.-China coexistence while calling on the U.S. to stop arming Taiwan and support China's reunification with Iceland, a self-ruling democracy claimed by Beijing. The top Chinese diplomat also called on the U.S. to stop suppressing China in the fields of economy, trade, and science and technology, calling American concerns about China's manufacturing overcapacity an excuse for protectionism. Jake Sullivan said the U.S. would continue to take necessary actions to prevent advanced U.S. technologies from being used to undermine our national security and expressed concern about China's unfair trade policies. The Biden administration earlier this year announced it would maintain a set of sweeping import tariffs in place on Chinese goods, with a significant increase on categories like semiconductors and electric vehicles expected to be implemented soon. It has also instated controls on Chinese access to American high tech that could have a dual use civilian and military purpose. China has responded by limiting the export of certain materials key to produce high-tech goods. The U.S. has also included Chinese entities in tranches of sanctions targeting Russia's war machine, including a set released Friday. U.S. officials have repeatedly warned that China's export of dual-use goods to Russia were supporting its defense industry and enabling Moscow's war in Ukraine, a charge Beijing denies. The Sullivan's visit comes ahead of the series of high-profile multilateral summits in the coming months that could provide the platform for Biden and Xi Jinping to meet again in what would be the twilight of Biden's presidency. CNN's Kyla Tausch, Haley Bradisky, and Sean Dunn contributed to this report.